The Buffalo Bills should be mandated by the National Football League to have a dome over their stadium.
Oh,
Yes.
come on.
This shit is ridiculous.
Give
Loser
me a
mentality.
What do you mean loser mentality? No,
Loser.
like they've already had to move one game because of conditions in the area. There was literally 6 feet of snow in Buffalo where they couldn't even play a football game.
Right.
This weekend, I'm already reading reports about there being several inches of snow. It's going to be ridiculous conditions to play in. First off, Buffalo as a weather city should probably not have a football team. Let's start there.
Okay.
But let's move on from there to, at the very least, if we must have a football team in Buffalo, can they...
Bob is yelling at you. From
Hey, time out a second. Can you put that on the poll, please? Should Buffalo as a weather city have a football team? It's absurd. I mean,
You're going to get roasted.
I know.
know.
What? I hope so. You know what? I will
You're,
put
you're
that...
taking out Chicago. You're taking out Cleveland.
Green Bay.
no, and I'm glad you brought up Chicago
tundra.
because they were talking about putting a dome stadium in Chicago. Certain cities.
As they should.
No,
They
you're
should.
supposed to play football outdoors in
No.
certain cities.
That one should
Yes.
have a retractable roof
No.
because I would love
Miami
to see
should
a
have
Super
a
Bowl.
retractable roof then.
I would agree.
You get a dome. You're the one with the stadium that everyone melts in.
Yeah,
you're-
but we need that advantage
That's
where
our home field advantage.
where it's 120.
Okay.
Oh, now you like it.
Okay.
Oh, now you
I
like it,
see
huh?
how this works.
This is theirs unless that home field gets
but
moved
the
to
thing
Detroit.
But the thing is that it's not for Buffalo. Like, you have to...
Sure it is. Sure it is.
You think
with that,
so?
With that
It is.
quarterback?
Yeah, with that quarterback.
With that
yes.
But
quarterback,
what,
it's
you don't
absolutely-
think they would be better in climatized conditions? Like if it was 73 degrees
No.
at every
No.
kickoff? You don't
Because-
think that the Buffalo offense would be better if they didn't have to deal with
The
snow and
players
wind?
are used to it. When you live somewhere with a colder climate, you gradually
possible?
adjust over. I talked to
Yep.
Golick about this on Golick and Smetty this week. I asked what difference does it actually make if you're a Miami player going to Buffalo late in December? Do you actually have to change the way you prepare, how you respond to the conditions? And he said, yes, absolutely. It is not easy to do, and it does create an advantage for the away team.
That's for strategy, though, right? Like that's inter-football strategy. What he's talking about, like offensive efficiency, yes, would be better at 73 in a dome with a fast-track turf.
Well, it's like Dan has always said that Aaron Rodgers might have won a few more Super Bowls if you were playing in Indianapolis.
Maybe.
That's a dome stadium than playing in Green Bay.
When he did win the Super Bowl, he went on the road in great environments for that offense, and he does have some bad losses to the San Francisco 49ers at home, who had offenses more styled to playing in those elements. However, he's lost to them at San Francisco, too. I'm not really sure how much you can extrapolate citing their offense as an example. Buffalo is uniquely qualified because their running game is predicated on their quarterback who touches the ball every play.
Mike,
I think they're totally fine with it.
Mike, I'm with you, but let's try it this way. In Witty's defense, if you gave Josh Allen the choice, dome or play at home in Buffalo, what do you think he chooses?
Home. It's one of the best environments. Those people are rabid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Home,
I mean, I know
home
it's a-
in 7 inches of snow, I think they'd take that over Detroit in 73 degrees of AC.
But if you gave him the choice of having a dome stadium in Buffalo or playing where he currently plays, what do you think he chooses?
They're all kind of nuts over there, man.
including Josh Allen.
Yeah, having been there, there's no way those folks want a dome.
If everyone played in perfect climates all the time, that would be the most boring shit of all time. What makes football fun is you don't know what you're going to get week to week. You might get rain, you might get blustery winds, you might get snow sometimes, and that's just part of the game, is having to adjust. You can't play the same game week after week after week in a dome in perfect conditions.
It would get boring. It would become like a soundstage, essentially. Just totally antiseptic. Don't you want
42-35 is boring. 49-42 is boring.
No, I mean,
like,
would you
would you
find
find the Minnesota Vikings more entertaining if they played outdoors?
Maybe.
They did play outdoors.
I mean,
for a little bit.
49-42 every week, I'll tell you what, it would get boring. It would.
You don't like the
Sometimes
different
you want a
aesthetics?
13-9.
No,
You do.
I never want to.
Defensive struggle.
but
I'm
the-
with Smetty on that. Yeah.
Some of the great moments in NFL history, some of the great still images are in the elements. The Ice Bowl, the Tuck Rule game.
The Leon Lett game.
Yeah, the Leon Lett game, that Thanksgiving against the Miami Dolphins, where he's sliding all over the snow because they inexplicably just cut a hole in the middle of the roof. These are great football moments.
How does it feel to come off? You had some time off, and we understand why, and our thoughts and prayers have been with you, and and of course Grant Wall and his family. But you come off and you give a take, and no one agrees with it.
It was good though. It was good to get back on the bike, be unpopular.
Did you
front of the room?
Was that festering for a while, or did you just come up with that? Like, were you
No,
sitting
he's
with that?
No, he's worried about the Bills this weekend. He's worried about
No,
it.
it's not that I'm worried about the Bills. Is that I think it's kind of weird that my entire perspective about the game is not what's happened with Tua these last couple weeks. Has the NFL figured out Mike McDaniel's offense? It's how much snow is going to be on the ground on Saturday night.
You know what's weird? Soccer, you can have different size pitches, and not enough people
What?
talk about it.
You know, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
What do you
so,
mean, Mike?
so in soccer, there are guidelines. So it's like it's sort of like you can determine how big. So like Barcelona have the biggest field in the world,
What?
and Yankee Stadium has the smallest. But Yankee Stadium is barely regulation, barely. And
Well,
yeah,
it's not a soccer field, though.
It is for
it is for
former champs.
17 Saturdays.
Yeah.
17
Okay.
Saturdays a year. It's a
New
soccer
York City
stadium.
FC.
All right. I had
But-
no idea.
But it's actually
Miami played their playoff game actually
in City Field.
In City Field.
Really?
And
Yeah.
that looked like a 7v7 field. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it was funny, like to actually walk out with the radio announcer from New York City, and he was measuring the field with his feet. But either way,
Finally,
like,
a playoff game at City Field. I mean, how about that? Yeah.
right? It was the only real playoff game played there this year. But yes, there are guidelines. I actually think baseball should have regulation. Like it should be 335 to left, 365 to left center, 400 to center, and then the same in right field. Like I don't understand why every baseball stadium has to have their own thing. But yeah, for me, this Dolphins game, I think has so many interesting talking points, so many interesting aspects of it, and yet here we are talking about how much snow there is on the ground. It's not about did Brandon Staley completely undo Mike McDaniel by dropping his linebackers 3 yards further back into coverage.
Witty, that's part of sports though. You have to plan for the unexpected. It changes certain things, and the good coaches are able to adjust to it, and maybe the not so good ones can't, and that has an impact on the game. Like we're not all sports robots who want to play every single game in the exact same conditions, in the exact same setting, in the exact same fields and everything else. Like the variation is what makes it interesting.
You don't like the NHL Outdoor Series?
I do, but it doesn't drastically impact the game, does it?
Yeah. But that's like one game a year.
It's just it's
once
a
a year,
hockey
right.
game,
Yeah.
and it's a slab of ice, and they skate around
and
the
they,
slab
and
of
they
ice.
play
There's a
like
thing
80
called the
games in a
sun.
season.
It happens
Yeah.
to be
Well,
out
there was the one time they tried to play in Lake Tahoe, and they didn't plan for the sun.
Right.
It's happened like a few
poor
times
planning.
where the
Yeah.
weather has not held up.
They're
God,
like, damn it, who forgot the sun again?
I always thought outdoor NBA games would be fun.
I
did.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Out-
They do
Outdoor
those
games.
college basketball games on like an air carrier, like one of those like
aircraft carrier.
aircraft carrier
Yeah,
military ships.
they also play college basketball in NFL stadiums, which is pretty bad for the sightlines.
They also play college basketball in hotel ballrooms sometimes.
Low roofs,
Yeah.
tough
That
for a jump.
would be weird.
Yeah,
I
tough for a
like
jump
the
shot.
different aesthetics that the fall and the winter provide in the NFL. I think it's cool. I like that these divisions in football kind of had their identity. There's more retractable roofs now, but you can count on 3 games a year that you'll be tuning into the red zone and they'll switch. You'll go from bright green to snow white, and you'll be like, what the hell's going on here? It's
Instead
super
of-
memorable.
Instead of a dome, why don't we just mandate retractable roofs? So if you want the elements, you just open it up. Snow comes down, rain comes down, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
But
and then
the
you can just
the
close it
point
back
of
up.
having the retractable roof is so that we get the roof going while
the elements are
the
happening.
elements are there.
Yeah.